good morning to each and everyone. I am Nikki Dura Camarillo from BS Ed Social Studies, and our group was tasked to tackle about the chapter 6, which is all about the students with learning disabilities. So, at the end of this chapter, we will be able to recall the concepts on the learning process and the different stages that a student undergoes when efficient teaching and effective learning take place. Explain the concepts on mental ability and the measurement of intellectual functioning. Define the term learning with disabilities. Explain the criteria and determining the presence of learning disabilities. Define attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Explain the syndromes in the areas of inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. Explain the causes or theology of learning disabilities. Discuss the assessment procedures and identifying students with learning disabilities. Enumerate and describe the special education programs for students with learning disabilities and manifest patience and understanding in teaching the children with learning disabilities. Enumerate and describe the special education programs for students with learning disabilities and manifest patience and understanding in teaching the children with learning disabilities. So, when we talk about learning disabilities, it is a general term that refers to a heterogeneous group of disorders manifested by a significant difficulties in acquisition and use of listening, speaking, reading, writing, reasoning, or mathematical skills. Well, a learning disability is defined by the Department of Health or the DOH as a significant reduced ability to understand new or complex information, to learn new skills, or impaired intelligence with a reduced ability to cope independently, or impaired social functioning, which started before adulthood. We need about a teenager with learning disabilities. Peter is a typical, a healthy, a good-looking, middle-class, 14-year-old boy who studies in private school, unlike his classmates in kindergarten 8 years ago. Peter is still in the 3rd grade. According to the results of the mental ability test, his IQ score is within the average range, but he failed the school subjects consistently. He did most poorly in language, reading, and mathematics. The teacher complained about his inability to pay attention and to concentrate on the lessons. He also tended to disrupt the class with his impulsive and hyperactive behavior, which got him into fights with his classmates and problems with a teacher and also to the school administrators. Peter had spent the last 5 years in 5 different schools. A thorough psychodiagnostic examination showed that Peter has learning disabilities. He was suffering from a condition called attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD. So, as you have heard that Peter has learning disabilities, nag-test siya and nag-result nga na siya learning disabilities, which is it's very hard for him to cope up to the lessons or the activities na ginahatag sa iyang teacher sa iya. And also, it's very hard for the teacher to na makipag-communicate sa kay Peter kasi na siya behavior nga very hyper, and which she cannot have that behavior. Di niya maingon nga stop that kind of behavior kay syempre naa siya learning with disabilities or the attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So when we talk about attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, it is a brain disorder that affects how you pay attention, set still, and control your behavior. It happens in children, in teens, and can continue into adulthood. ADHD is the most commonly diagnosed mental disorder in children. Well, boys are more likely to have it than girls. That's why ang mga bata nga na ay learning disabilities is very hard. Lisod kay nato sila maka-communicate. That's why we all know that those kind of students, they need our care and they need our love. So spread love to each other. So another one, when we talk about psychodiagnostic testing, it is used to help diagnose and clarify concerns regarding behavior, personality traits, mood, emotional functioning, and cognitive processes. It usually involves a sophisticated and extensive workup to distinguish the psychological contributions that may confound accurate diagnosis and treatment. And this testing will help for the students na ay learning with disabilities. So, there are adult ADHD symptoms and it includes, first one is impulsiveness, the second one is disorganization and problems prioritizing, the third one is poor time management skills, problems focusing on a task, trouble multitasking, excessive activity or restlessness, poor planning, and also low frustration tolerance. So, there are three categories of symptoms of ADHD and it includes the following. First is inattention, second is impulsivity, third is hyperactivity. So when we talk about inattention, it is a short attention span for age, difficulty sustaining attention, difficulty listening to others. So, ang mga students with learning disabilities is very hard for them to sustain the attention of others. Just like, tayo mag-klase. So, a student with learning disabilities cannot cope up easily to the teacher. Kasi, dili sila pare sa tuwa nga kanang kung unsay history sa teacher, we can understand easily. Sa ilaha man good is nganong dili sila maka kuan dayon sa attention kasi maglisod sila cope up because of their disabilities, disability to speak, disability to calculate numbers, and disability to read, and also especially in mathematics kasi it's all about numbers, multiplications, divisions, and subtraction, and also addition. So next is impulsivity, often interrupts others. So ang mga students with learning disabilities is naga-interrupt na sila sa mga tao nga while nagastorya or like at ako na ako'y kastorya tapos na ay isa ka estudyante nga mo interrupt og kalit sa mua kasi that kind of students need jud kay nila ang atong attention kasi makuan magud na to base nga kita normal lang tapos sila na ay disabilities. So para magud sa tuwa is kanang dili pantay, so we need to help them to be able to learn kasi kapala man ta na kitang tanan is unique, so they are unique too, even na sila learning with disabilities. So the last one is hyperactivity. Seems to be in constant motion, runs or climbs, at times with no apparent goal except motion. So mauni, very lihukan kay sila, very hyper. Makarelate ko kay syempre hyper pud ko, pero not kanang everyday, na alay time. So, those students with learning disabilities is na sila behavior nga hyper kay sa tanan, like kanang they will run, dagan. They will kanang magsaka tapos mag-abitanay ing anagod. Kasi wala sila main goal. Kasi di pa rin sa tuwa, di ba, if ever natay assignment. So, our goal is buhaton na to ang ato ang assignment. Pero sila, if ever tagaan na to assignment, tagaan si teacher og assignment, wala sila main goal kasi maglisod sila cope up kay namugod sila learning disabilities. Lisod nila masabot kay lagay dili sila pare sa tuwa nga kanang easy ra kay para sa tuwa nga masabtan ang gi-instruct sa teacher. Sila kailangan pa nila og kanang full attention sa instructor or sa teacher kay para masabtan nila kay it's hard for them. It's very hard for them na ingana ilahang sitwasyon. So, we need to help each other labaw na sa mga students with learning disabilities kay kabalumanta, we are unique in our own ways and we are living in this world to help each other. So, there are basic problems of students with learning disabilities. First is dyslexia. When we talk about dyslexia, it is the difficulty with language processing, affecting reading, writing, and also spelling. Second one is dyscalculia, impaired mathematical ability. Next is dyspraxia, difficulty with coordination and manual dexterity. And And the last one is dysgraphia, problems with written expression, particularly handwriting. So these basic problems is mauni ang gina-experience sa mga students nga na learning with disabilities, no? Very lisod jud kay sa ilaha na magbasa, magsulat pati spelling, no? Ano dyan na to, ma-compare na to atong kaugalingon sa mga students nga na ay learning disabilities, no? Like kanang maka-realize nga we are very lucky that we are not having that kind of disorder, no? Wala tay ADHD or the attention deficit hyperactivity, or we called it ADHD, no? So they are experiencing difficulty with language processing, nang maapektuhan ang ilahang pagbasa kay lagi maglisod sila kay naman sila learning disabilities. Di pare sa tuwa, di ba? Labaw na sa mga pagsulat kay lagi na sila behavior nga hyper, so di sila makafocus, di ba? Na wala man gud sila yung main goal. All they want to do is kanang lihok, lihok. And then in terms of kanang labaw mathematics, no, maglisod sila kasi numbers. Kita man gani na college na maglisod gihapon og math. Oh my god. Labaw na sila nga elementary pa lang or kinder tapos nanay learning disabilities, pero ang uban, no, kanang makita nimo nga uban na mga kanang sa lang sa social media nga kanang makita nimo sa ilaha nga na ay mga estudyante with learning disabilities nga determinado sila mutuon. Determinado sila nga makabuot ang ilahang goals nga maparehas gani sa tuwa, like they wanted to feel nga kanang normal sila para sa tuwa nga they can easily understand and they can easily to cope up the lessons and the activities nga ginapahimo sa mga teachers or sa mga instructors nila.